My dear Christian, I will talk in a very, very important topic, which is this video and achieving what I will say now is very, very important. Watching this video and achieving what I will say now is a matter of life or death. For that, I want you to hear me very well. Hear me with your heart. Don't hear me with your ears. I'm sure if you hear me with your heart, my talking will penetrate your heart, because most of Christians are not arrogant, are not proud. If they know the correct way, they walk in the correct way. If they hear the correct advice, they follow the correct advice. I will talk about very great and incredible scientific miracles in the Holy Quran and Sunnah, and in the opposite side, I will make spots about very important topics in your books. Hear me very well for 6 minutes, and then you are free. As God said in Surah Eltharyat, in chapter number 27, in verse number 47, and we constructed the heaven with strength and indeed, and we will keep expanding. God said that, and we constructed the heaven with strength and we will keep expanding. What is the meaning of that? Which means that the God said that He will keep expanding the heaven. The recent science proves that the heaven expands with a very high velocity, which it reaches 30,000 light years every 1 second, because there are 275 million stars are created or born every day. For that, the heaven has to be expanded to accommodate these huge numbers of stars. How the Prophet Muhammad knew this very important fact from more than 1,400 years, and he was an illiterate man, can read and can write. How he knows that? Did he say from himself, and we will keep expanding, or the God said that and inspired that to him and teach him? Very great miracle, which proves that this Quran is from God. In the opposite side, you said in your books that the God said that the God created the 7 grounds and 7 heavens in 6 days, and then he got very tired. For that, he gave himself a break in Saturday. Is that logic? Is that reasonable to say that about the God? For that, the God said in our book that the God created the 7 heavens and 7 grounds in 6 days, and he doesn't get tired. It's impossible, because the God have unlimited power. Another very great miracle. The Prophet Muhammad said in the hadith, if the fly fall in the vessel, dip all of it and then remove it, that one of its wings is a disease and the other is a treatment. The recent science proves that one of the wings of the fly contains antibiotics, which kill the parasites and the microbes which fall from the another wing. For that, he ordered us, if the fly fall in the vessel, to dip all of it. When you dip all of it, it will drop these antibiotics from the another wing, and it will kill the parasites and the microbes which fall from the another wing, and it will pure and clean the vessel. There are more than great study in USA and Australia prove this very great fact, and now they produce antibiotics from the body of the fly for the treatment of many diseases. The Prophet said, Muhammad said that from more than 1,400 years, and who is an illiterate man? How he knew that? And he was an illiterate man and the recent science proves that. In the opposite side, you said in your book that the great prophet Dawood has committed the big sin, adultery, with the wife of his army commander Uriah. He saw her when she was taking a shower. He saw her. He loved her because she was naked. He make the big sin, adultery, sex with her behind her husband. Is that logic? Is that reasonable to insult the great prophet Dawood and said about that him? And you said also in your books that he put her husband in the beginning of the army in a place to make him killed, to take his wife. Is that reasonable? Is that logic? And also you said about the son of the Dawood, the big son of Dawood, that he makes the big son adultery with his sister. He was having a very beautiful sister. He loved his sister. He said to her, I want to sleep with you. He said to him, how much you will give me? He paid to her, and he makes sex with her. And when Dawood, the great prophet Dawood, knew this very bad relation, he got very angry, but he doesn't punish his son because he was loving him and because he will inherit the prophecy from him. Is that logic? Is that reasonable? This is your book. Another very great miracle in our book. The Prophet Muhammad said, every human being is created about 360 joined, and he has to offer every day a charity or donation for every joint. And if he pray 2 rakas in the early morning, it will be equivalent for all that. The recent science proves that every one of us is created about 360 joined like Muhammad said. How he knew that? And he was an illiterate man, can read and cut from more than 1,400 years. Another very great miracle. The Prophet, the God said in Surah Al-Najm, in chapter number 27, in verse number 45 and 46. The God said, and he created the two mates, the male and the female, from a sperm drop when it is emitted. And he created the two mates, the male and the female, from a sperm drop when it is emitted, which means that the God said that he created the two types of fetus, male and female, from the sperm of the man. From a sperm drop when it is emitted. The recent science prove that the sperm of the man controls the type of fetus, and there is no relationship between the egg of the woman and the type of fetus. There are two types of sperms, feminine sperm and male sperm. When the feminine sperm fertilize the egg of the woman, the fetus will be girl, be female, and when the male sperm fertilize, the fetus will be male. How the Prophet Muhammad knew that? The recent science proves that, and it was well known until a few years only, that the egg of the woman controls the type of fetus, until the recent science prove that the sperm of the man controls the type of fetus. But the Holy Quran said that from more than 1,400 years. In the opposite side, you said that the God, in your book, that the God settled down from the sky to the ground, and he met the prophet, the great prophet Yaqub. The great prophet Yaqub said to the God, to Allah, he said to him, can you fight me? He said, yes. The great prophet Yaqub, the great prophet Yaqub meet the God in the ground. He said to him, can you fight me? He said, yes. He fight him and he beat him. And he said to him, and he hold him from his clothes, and he said to him, I will not leave you climb in the sky until you called me Israel. He said, okay, you are Israel. Is that reasonable? Is that logic? To say that about the great prophet Yaqub, that he beat and fight and struck the God? What is that? How dare you? How you believe these liars in your books? This is your book. Another very great miracle in our book. The God said in Surah Al-An'am in chapter number 8 in verse number 125, whoever Allah wants to guide him to Islam, he expand his breast or his chest for Islam. And whoever Allah wants to misguide him, he make his chest or his breast very tight and constricted, as though as he is climbing in the sky. This is an example for the people who don't want to believe or who don't want to convert to Islam. Which means that the God give an example for the people who don't want to believe in Islam, that they are like the people who are climbing in the sky and they will be suffocated. They feel suffocated and they feel that chest are tight and constricted. The recent science prove that the percentage of oxygen decreases in the upper layers of the sky, as the Holy Quran said, from more than 1,400 years. How the very great miracle. How the Prophet Muhammad knew that, and he was an illiterate man, can read and can write. In the opposite side, you said in your books that the God, after the big flood, the big flood, in the period of the great prophet Noah, there was a big flood which destroyed all the world. The God get sadness, and he cry, and he take an eye rush in his eye, which was he was sick in his eyes. For that the angels go to visit him because he was sick. The God was sick in his eyes. Is that logic? Is that reasonable to say that about the Holy God? The Holy God said about it. This is your book. Also, you insult the great prophet Lut, and you said to him that he makes the big sin, adultery with his daughters, and he made them pregnant from him. Is that logic? To say that about the great prophet Lut, that he makes sex with his daughters and makes them pregnant from him? This is your book. Another very great miracle in our book. The non-believer said to the Prophet Muhammad, if you're really a prophet from God, split this moon for us into two parts, and we will believe you and support you. He said to them, can you give me a charter, a strong promise? They said yes. He prayed to God, and the moon has split it into two parts. They said to him, you charmed us with magic. This is magic. He said to them, why you broke your promises with me? I achieved what you want. He said, no, it is a magic. He said to them, okay, there are messengers will come after today's, we can ask them. If they saw which he saw, this means that it is not a magic. They said, okay, because they know that the magic affect only the people in front of you, but doesn't affect the people far away from you. The messengers came after 2 days, and they said, we saw a very strange thing. We saw that the moon has split it into 2 parts, and I was astonished. What is the matter? They said, the non-believer said to him, no, your magic is very strong. It goes for a long way. For that, the God settled down in Surah Al-Qamar, in chapter number 27, in verse number 1. The last day has been soon, and the moon has split it. And if they saw a great miracle, they don't believe. And they said it is a strong magic. And this is always the character of the non-believers. They ask for a great miracle, and then they broke their promises because they are a liar. And I hope you are not like these people. When the instruments dropped on the surface of the moon, they found a very long crack. The length of this crack is 125 kilometers, and the width of this crack is 1,500 meters, and the depth of this crack is 500 meters. They was astonished because they never saw a crack like this in the ground. They make studies about this crack. They found that this crack impossible to come as a result from earthquake or volcano or any another thing. And one of the scholars of NASA agency said that our studies prove that the moon has broken in the past and then it's sealed another time, which prove without any doubt that the God has split the moon for his prophet Muhammad from more than 1,400 years, as the Holy Quran said. Very great miracle. What do you want more than that? Another very great miracle. A great scholar, non-Muslim scholar called Masaru Emoto, make a great book called Message from Water about the incredible effect of reciting the Holy Quran on the water. He found many strange things. He found that the crystals of the water, it changed to make beautiful structures after reciting the Holy Quran on it. He take images for these structures and put them in his book. And he found that he makes studies about the water. He found that the benefits of the water and the character of the water changed to be better and better in the treatment of many diseases after reciting the Holy Quran on it. He wrote that in his book, Message from Water. I will put the link of this book. I will put under this video 8 great miracles provided with links to prove what I say. Now, if you don't want to believe until now that the Holy Quran is from God, I'm sorry to say to you that you are arrogant. Because if I told you to look at the sun in the sky and you told me that you don't see anything, this means that you are arrogant or you are blind. You have to know that the strength and the greatness of the miracles in the Quran and Sunnah is stronger than the light of the sun in the sky. And you have to know that the Holy Quran, which contains all these miracles, said in Surah Al-Imran, chapter number 3, in verse number 85, any person will accept any religion unless Islam will not be acceptable from him, and he will be from the big losers in the last day. And the Prophet Muhammad said in the hadith, I swear with whom my soul is in his hand, any person hear about me, Jewish or Christian or any another religion, and don't believe me and don't believe the religion I came with, he will be one of the hell people. You will be one of the fire people if you don't convert to Islam. Convert to Islam before time is off. You will fall if your soul come out from your body from before converting to Islam. Your destination will be fire, and you will never come out of it. I made this video because I care about you. I'm afraid about you. You will fall in fire, and you will never come out. You will bite your fingers in the last day, and you will cry, but you will not cry with tears. You will cry with blood, and you will remember what I say now, and you will blame yourself because you don't obey me. But the time will be off, and you will hope to return for the life for 1 second to convert to Islam, but the time will be off, and the door will be closed. Now I have finished what I want to say. Drop under this video and read all the miracles which I have written and press the links to make sure from what I have said. And after that, you don't have any excuse, and you will be the killer of yourself if you don't obey me and to convert to Islam.